Welcome back into Season 5, Episode 2, Part 2, where we discuss our absolute, what's it called? What's your favourite one called? Your S-tier toy. Our favourite toys of all, the one that we've been saving, this extra special toy that we held near and dear to our hearts. We took them to bed, we loved them, we cuddled them, we played with them all day long, and we're going to be reading out all of our listener submissions, which we haven't read through them, but there's a hell of a lot of submissions from listeners, which is really cool. Which is really cool, man, because it just shows the nostalgia, the power. It's not just video games and nostalgia, toys, stuff like that just brings the memories back. So
childhood is a very powerful thing, which always gets the nostalgia juices flowing. But before we jump into our absolute favourites, I got a couple of few more to run through. I don't know if you have maybe some more on your list as well.
Honourable mentions?
Yeah, a few honourable mentions. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they're all an honourable mention. I mean, Hot Wheels. How could we forget about Hot Wheels, man?
Ah, very good, yeah. I was actually over at my kids, or my friend's kid's birthday party, and he had like this mad Hot Wheels loop that has like a motor that spins, like flicks.
Yeah, where you know, it's
and I was just sitting there going, whoop,
yeah.
This
when
is cool.
When you go to the rich kid's house and you're like, fuck you, you smash it on the floor. You're like, fuck you.
It was fucking deadly, man. It was so cool.
This is like kind of a toy, kind of not, but it was absolutely made famous, I feel, in the 90s, like very much so. Rollerblades. Rollerblades were like the 90s incarnate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like such a good
When you
vibe.
mentioned Super Soakers, I thought of rollerblades. FX1s, FX2s, and up to FX6s, I think there was. Were the brand, do you remember that?
I don't specifically remember the brand, but man, I just can see the boxes. Right. And I remember I had rollerblades and a Sonic the Hedgehog helmet, which I love.
Very good,
I remember I came out of hospital because I was getting tests for my migraines when I was a kid. There was nothing wrong with me, thankfully. But and I remember why I got the Sonic the Hedgehog helmet. Wait, what'd you say?
You sure about that?
Yeah, no, there's definitely something wrong with me, but medically I'm not so sure.
I fucking love any excuse to use that meme.
You sure about
it? You sure about it?
Oh my god. One of the girls' toys, which is so funny, which got like banned everywhere because they were the most violent. They were so good. They were banned. Is fucking sky dancers. The things where you pull the cord like a chainsaw and they go meow, and it's like a fucking blade of death in the sky. My favourite thing about them as well is the fact that there's a video of where a girl opens one up at Christmas, takes it outside, and it's like a new age one, and she goes, the dad pulls it, she's like, yay! And it keeps going and going over the estate houses, out of the estate, and she just goes from yay to like that thing is in fucking Mexico. I don't know where fucking it went. It didn't stop spinning forever. Some say it's still spinning to this day. So Sky fucking rocket launchers, I don't know what they were. They were classic. Another one which is hilarious because people thought they'd be worth a large sum of money. There was rumours going around at the time. Are the cuddly Beanie Babies, which were just notorious. There was, the millennial Beanie Baby. There was all different limited editions. And now, like Mary Majora, past guest member, she's stuck with 300 unvalued Beanie Babies of nothingness, but she loves them dearly, so that's the main thing. And she did, make them have relationships, so I mean that's a whole story to get into for another day. Do you know what I mean? But those Beanie Babies had babies, I would say.
Beanie Baby babies.
Beanie Baby Baby. That's the name of my episode. I just want a Beanie Baby Baby.
Are Pogs considered toys?
I would say so, yeah. Well, I like to be honest with you, anything you play with really is technically a toy. So
true. Yeah.
But we did purposely omit video games because we talk about them all the time, so we needed to put a bit of a...
Actually, this is... Yeah, no, you're dead right. Video games are separate, yeah. But do you know what I remember a lack of is video game-related toys back in the day.
In Ireland, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of. So when we were talking about earlier how Ireland was quite limited to what you can get access to. I do not remember seeing video game toys as a kid. Like, I cannot remember any of them. And what's funny is I was going to a wedding a few years ago. When I was driving to the wedding up in Mayo, I stopped at a car boot sale. And in this car boot sale, right now, I'm fucking raging. He had a few bits, and I'm raging didn't buy them. He had a few like original Pokemon T-shirts from the original TV show, like small T-shirts, probably worth a fucking fortune, right? But what he did have,
fool.
I know. What he did have, which was very cool, was it's like sealed in the box, right? Goomba from the Super Mario Bros. 1993 movie. Like, how fucking random is that, man? It's in the box, sealed. And I was like, I got it because it was like a $5 or something like that. I ended up giving it to Ben from Lasersteak because he's mad into collecting toys and figures and stuff like that. But I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember any of these toys as a kid. Do you remember having video game related toys?
This is what I wanted to say. Like, everything I adored the most, and I always go to like Penny's now and I see Dragon Ball Z t-shirts and stuff, and I'm like, fuck my life. Like, I went to London to find a knockoff Dragon Ball toy when I was a kid. That's how grim it was, growing up. I remember being so obsessed with Sonic. I used to have the Archie comics and I used to read the lore, and I played Sonic Adventure when I was about 1999, 2000, so I was about 7 or 8. But there was Sonic Adventure toys, which are actually worth a lot now, that I still have behind me. And only recently has my Instagram started showing me these old scuffed official Dragon Ball toys, and my Instagram feed is now all toys. And I'm starting to get a passion for like old toys. Do you know what I mean? I'm specifically with Dragon Ball, because I'm like, I remember having some of them growing up, but they're so scuffed. I mean now, Nisha, like Goku looks like he's melted. Do you know what I mean? And they're real proper toys, that were licensed at the time. And there's something about how like toys, like the quality of toys in terms of like being on model has skyrocketed in the last 20 years. Back in the day, if it had the same color, it didn't even have the same. Remember buying toys and the colors weren't even right. Like the Green Ranger had blue pants and a red top on for no reason. Do you know what I mean? It was whatever plastic they could get their hands on, man. It was like you couldn't get that stuff. And now I went into Smith's yesterday because I went suit shopping with my friends for a wedding next year, and we got ourselves Pokemon cards to celebrate. And there's Tekken toys, there's Naruto, there's One Piece, loads of Dragon Ball, loads of Mario, rows of Sonic. Like my child heart would have exploded. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I thought that as well, because I'd bring my daughter up to Smith's, and there's like that. There's Super Mario Bros. The movie. There's like the Rainbow Road, like Hot Wheels set or whatever it is. Sonic, Pokemon toys. So many Pokemon toys. Actually, one thing I didn't mention, and I don't have this as my number one, is actually my Pokemon toys that I've had since like the 90's. Oh yeah. So there's like the classic like Big Boy Pikachu and all of the original 151 Gen 1 with Ash. That Ash that stands there holding the Pokemon.
I have all of them up here. I have all of them on my
shelf.
Oh
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
And the great thing about them,
cool.
right? That was going to be my number one, but I've changed it, right? So the Pokemon toys were going to be my number one, but I've just changed it because it just came into my mind what is my number one kind of as a toy anyway. Pokemon was what I was most obsessed with. I actually include the cards as part of toys, so that's why it was going to be my number one. The Pokedex that you could get. Remember the toy Pokedex that opens up?
Yeah.
Do you remember the bouncy balls with the Pokemon crystallized inside them? They were like balls you could bounce, and they had a Mewtwo, Squirtle, and they were just bouncy balls with them inside.
I do.
But those toys where you got a Master Ball and you got like a Drowsy and a Hypno, or you got a Pidgey and a Pidgeot, with the Master Ball, I was obsessed, Nisha.
Yeah.
Like I used to have a Pokemon Center in my room that I made, where I'd put the Pokeballs of Pokemon in it, pretending I was healing them in the Pokemon Center. I recreated I used to strap them around my belt because there used to be a thing you could, and you get string and I'd strap them around. Yeah. And I'd recreate the entire SSN episode in my garden where the SSN was sinking. And I'd pretend that I was doing that whole episode where the ship was upside down and they had to use their Pokemon to get out. I still love that episode.
Oh my God. Man, that has just unlocked a memory in my head where I have some of the original. It's just a Pokeball, and inside is Squirtle and inside is Pikachu, but they're keyrings, right?
Yes.
And I remember I used to actually, you could just screw out the keyring chain part.
I had that. And I
used to remember playing with it, man. Like, when Ash would take out the Pokemon, it was small.
And I go,
this was a little bit smaller. Yeah. And I remember, oh my God, man, it's like that is just after coming back to me. And I still have those toys in a box in my room because I actually gave them to my daughter and she was playing with them and all, which I thought was a really nice circle of life moment. But oh man, that's like totally after unlocking that, because I can remember playing with them so much, specifically those ones that were key rings. And I remember, oh my God, man, that is just playing with them and just like, Oh, I'm actually getting a bit emotional,
Yeah.
like thinking about that. It's so powerfully nostalgic. Fucking hell, man, Pokemon, yeah.
The thing about Pokemon as well is like there was so much toys for everything. Do you know what I mean? Which is like,
Mhm.
as you said, there was like think of anything, you have it. But I like
Yeah.
remember we talked before about when we play. Like, do you remember you said you got a Megazord at Christmas and it was attached to a cable and it wasn't the one you wanted. You couldn't play with it. You couldn't like
Yeah.
you couldn't have
yeah.
the imaginative play with it. It just did what it did, and there's no room for
Yeah.
improvisation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just choked on my own spit there.
Yeah. All right.
There was also like the thing with the Pokeballs. For me, they had to be round. Like, I hated getting Pokeballs that had a flat bottom on them. Or like ones that like didn't open, or any like it had to be. I needed to have a
Legit.
functional. Yeah, it needed to be a legit Pokeball. So I was always on search for ones that like opened on a hinge and were properly circle and stuff like that. Was a big part of
Yeah.
it. But
Very, very cool.
there's two other toys that I think are super iconic of the 90s that when you see them, it's 90s in your brain straight away.
Right.
One of them being Buzz Lightyear, I think is just...
Oh, yeah.
And...
You have a really cool one, don't you?
I have a box one up there, but it's a newer one, and my dad got it for me as a Joe
Right.
Christmas present maybe about 10, 12 years ago. But it's still the same thing. And like having it in the box when he's in the spaceship,
God.
you know, the way he's in the spaceship in the box. Do you
Yes,
remember?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, 100%. Man, watch Toy Story. My kid loves Toy Story.
Yeah.
Man, you've just unlocked. First of all, I actually saw a boxed Buzz in the window of a charity shop the other day, but I was driving past and I couldn't go in. But you've just unlocked something in my brain. Is the toys you used to get out of like a Happy Meal
Or
McDonald's.
cereal.
Or cereal toys. Fuck. That's an episode in itself, man. Fucking hell. And I remember me and Aiden, my older brother, like fucking boxing the head off each other trying to get to the cereal in the back of the car on the way home from fucking Crazy Prices or Tesco's.
Do you remember when they did all the
my
Cartoon
God.
Network ones where it was like, there was like Courage the Cowardly Dog and
Yeah.
the Grim Adventures of Bill and Mandy and stuff like that? A little bit maybe past your time of cartoons, but
I vaguely remember them though. I vaguely remember, man. Fucking hell, that just came back to me because I remember specifically having, I think, Rex from Toy Story that I think was like a McDonald's toy. It was a shitty kind of, it was like a miniature version of the toy, and I fucking like playing with Toy Story toys, man. Really brought me back. I think me and you, right? Neither of us have mentioned the one brand of toy that's huge.
Lego.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, but that's a good shout as well. Yeah, Lego, man, is just Lego's timeless. It's
But go on, what's the huge one you're thinking of?
Well, it's my number one. And I'm
Okay, well, there's only two things I have to do very quickly because we got to read stuff out. No, the one Troll Dolls is pure 90s. Like,
shit,
Troll
yeah.
Dolls are 1,000,000% 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they had like little diamonds in their belly. They had like different crystals. Oh my God, I remember that. I think we had one with a purple triangle and a green diamond. I think were the ones that we had in my house, man. I can smell their hair. Hold on. Oh my God.
You're getting nostalgia smell?
I can't. I am. What the fuck? I could smell their hair there for a second.
I know exactly
That
what
was
that's
weird,
like.
man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I get that with Tenora, where I can it's a Cork lemonade, and I used to have a fridge, a mini fridge we used to put spilt cans of Tenora in it, and just reeked of Tenora, and every so often in the summer, I'll get a random smell of Tenora when it's not there.
That is crazy, man. That is crazy. I love trolls.
Then, of course, Power Rangers Megazords, but let's get to our favourite. What you got?
My favourite is all time.
Oh, I'm so excited. What is it? Because it's not Pokemon.
It's Power Rangers, you just said. Man, I remember, right, me and when I was a kid, my friend Johnny across the road used to get similar toys to me, right? And there was a bush up the road, right, which was a hedge in a lad's garden, right? And we used to go up with our Power Rangers. And I had the black Power Ranger and Johnny had the blue Power Ranger. And there were those ones that, the iconic Power Rangers
the head
toys.
flip.
No, not those, the bigger ones. Like, do you
Okay.
remember the flip head ones because they flipped and they had their helmet on?
Yeah.
They were
They're the ones
really
I
fucking
had.
cool. But do you remember the Action Man sized ones?
Mm-hmm.
Because they could move all their limbs and their hands, and I think like Billy had like a blaster and stuff like that, and they were so fucking cool. And I think I had the Green Ranger as well.
Nice.
But I specifically remember I have like core memories of me and Johnny playing with our black and blue were the Power Rangers that we had, and being up in that hedge, like that was our base, that was our fort, and we'd go up there and we'd just like, I remember during the summer there'd be like bees flying around and we'd pretend that they were like aliens invading and we'd be like running away from the bees and stuff. and all of the different like the flipping the heads Power Rangers toys. That time that I got like the white like tiger for Christmas, that was just on like a remote control string and I couldn't do anything with it. But man, I think like for me the most iconic toy from my childhood was Turtles is a close second, and Pokemon, but without a doubt the Power Rangers toys, man, just totally did it for me. They were so
I
cool.
can totally understand. I remember there was a set when I was in play school. I remember this is again one of my earliest memories. I was 3 or 4, and I remember you could get these like collection of small little Power Rangers. I don't know why when things were small they interested me more, because they usually came with like a set they could be in. You know what I mean? Like I could play a little bit more that way.
Yes.
And I remember like doing anything I could to get them. I think maybe they were in cereal at the time, but someone had all of them. And I was so... I mean, this is the first time I was envious, I think, where I was like, I need them. Like, because I could just imagine myself playing with them. But Power Rangers is a great shout, man. My number one...
And the show. And the show. Just a little plug to the show.
The movie as well. The first movie is great.
Yeah.
And also my first Cross the Pink Power Ranger. So this... we mentioned it earlier. It is a Lego product, right? But it fuses everything I love about stuff like anime and the obsession I had with Pokemon with Lego, and that was Bionicles. Okay, Bionicles were just so well designed. You had to, it was like the Power Rangers, right? There was different colors. There was a red one that has fire powers. There's a green one that used vines, and you get them in these tubes. So they were really cool. The packaging was all part of the experience, and you would open them up from the top and you build them, and they actually could fold back up and go into the tube. So that was like their, when the packaging is part of the play, like that's their that's their charge chamber. You know what I mean? And there was 3D animated movies based on them. There was little DVDs you get that you put into your computer. There's even video games made about them, which was just incredible. But there was this specific second iteration of them that I loved, and there was these they curled up into balls. Like, so the Lego, the way it works is you build them, they curl up into balls, they all have their own different weapons. And I just like the lore behind them. People still gush about them today. They all had different masks, and there was gold masks you could collect. So I think if you sent away for it, so they all had different masks, and if you sent away for it, or it was like they made booster packs of masks. So the Bionicles mask would come off, and they would give them different powers based on what mask they had on.
Cool.
And there was booster packs. Just remember them there. And you always wanted to search for the gold mask. It's like the gold accessories in Mario Kart. And you could find the gold weapons. So we kept buying booster packs. And if anyone got a gold mask, would trade them for their gold mask, which was their favorite Bionicle.
That's very
clever.
So
it was taking in trading. It was taking in anime. It was taking in the obsession. And was taking in the fun of Lego all together in one toy. And then as a side piece, they had these car slammers, where there was these little Lego cars that you just slam down a thing and they go flying. And they hit into each other and they'll go flying out, but there's all these cool little ghost ones and all different themes. They're like pop figures, but in these little cars. They were themed around anything and everything. And I was never I liked Lego growing up, but this was more than Lego for that 10 to 12 age category. It was just incredible, and I know there'll be a few of my friends listening who'll be like blown away remembering Bionicles.
Deadly, man, deadly. And I like the fact that you were saying that there was lore behind it, so it wasn't just a toy. They had movies, video games. They built a whole thing out of. But was it a Lego brand?
Oh, it is Lego. It is
Lego
Bionicles. Yeah. Do you remember them at all? No.
Yeah, I do vaguely, but I don't know anything about them apart from that I've seen them. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Let me just send you a very quick image in the Discord, just so you have an idea of how cool they look. Straight away when you see this, my feelings are you'd be like Power Rangers / something cooler / I need to get this right now. There you go. Have a look.
Right. Oh, fucking! I was thinking of something totally different.
Really?
Oh my god, man! I do fucking remember. I can remember seeing the ads.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And the red one surfed on lava.
Oh my fucking god!
And there the
man.
mask would come off, and the eyes would be when light shone through them, they glow like that. It was so cool.
Oh my god!
I actually want
man.
Bionicles now. This is making me want to buy them.
Do you have
any
of them left?
I should do. I've never thrown my stuff out, but it's not something I can think about. To show you as well, just the packaging they came in. And we'll get to listener questions straight away. But yeah, just Google Bionicles if you're not familiar with it for everyone at home. But this is the kind of packaging they came in too, which it was just cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just little tubes.
Yeah. Oh man, that looks so fucking cool. That weapon looks deadly as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, very very like fun, creative. You know what I mean, as well as playing. Very very cool, man. Fucking hell.
And there was
I
a
can't
movie
believe it was
too.
that ad. That ad. There was just an era of ads that looked like the Bionicles ad. Like,
It's that weird CG.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell, man. Jesus, this has been so far an awful lot more nostalgic than I was anticipating.
I'm telling you, man.
Because it just doors just kept getting opened in my brain, and memories came flooding back to me that I wasn't anticipating. It's very very cool. This was like toy therapy.
Mm-hmm. Should we get on to the listener questions?
Yeah, let's
You
do
want me
it.
to start off?
Absolutely. Yeah, you fire away.
Cool. All right, everybody listening at home. Thank you for your submissions. This is always an exciting part for us. The beautiful Zan fan said, so to kick it off, we have to talk about the devil itself when I talk about Furbies. Those scary things used to wake me up all hours of the night going, "Hello, halo, yum." My mum was obsessed with these damn things, and somehow it ended up with me. They even used to have an app a few years ago that allowed you to control them without needing a second Furby. Oh yeah, because the two Furbies together used to speak or something. It didn't make it any less scary. I still have Mom's though, since it was hers, and she's gone many years. But if it ever starts talking like Chucky, it's getting tossed. That is, I love that because it's the same thing I had, and it's also cool that it's like the memories of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't talk about 90s toys and not bring up Pogs. I remember being in a schoolyard in like 7th grade collecting these and trading them at recess. I remember there was a few video game ones that I had, and there was also characters like Alf that I thought was cute. Who knew cardboard could be so much fun, dude? Cards.
Yeah.
Summer wouldn't have been summer if it wasn't for Super Soakers. Wow, me and Zanfan have a lot of similar ones here. And slip and slides.
Oh yeah.
I used to soak the entire neighborhood with Super Soaker, and as an adult working in a hospital would have saline fights. Those are the little vials of salt water the nurse used to clean out IV sites on the body, but with proper pressure and force, they work just like a Super Soaker. Yes, I'm a medical professional. And while I had fun with these slip and slides as a kid, my fat ass was always slamming far beyond the edge of the slide, usually crashing into a car. How do we all survive? This brought back some fun memories. That is gas. I remember there was a Dane Cook bit where he was like, slip and slide. He was like, more like slip and break my anus. He was like, the slip and slides used to be on top of rocks and your ass would slide over the rocks and just slice your asshole.
Oh man, fucking! I can remember making like makeshift slip and slides like years ago, like but just trying to do it on like grass. We just have a hose and we just run as fast as we could on the grass and just fucking tear ourselves up.
It's gas.
Oh, brilliant! That was very cool. Thanks, Zanfan. Next up from our listener questions or listener what are they called? What listener responses?
Submissions.
Yes, listener submissions. Thanks, Keith. Mr. Dave just has a GIF and it just says it's morphin' time, and it's a GIF from the movie. Look at them.
So
like,
clean,
like leathery, like really high quality.
Yeah, because was this the first time with the movie like that it was like done like by Western people? Do you know, like as in the original show was always like American actors, but Japanese people in the suits doing the thing. So was it actually the people in the suits this time? It was, wasn't it?
Well, obviously, I'm fairly sure it was with the old stunt double thrown in, I imagine. But yes, as far as I know, it wasn't split from, you know, cuts of the Japanese show to the American show. I'm fairly sure this was all the one, so which is really really cool. But that's just that image alone just takes you back. But I'll jump on to the next story, and that's from Paddy Game Raider wrote in and said, "Okay, I have a cool toy from the 90s that may not be as well known. His name is." Gorzak?
Gorzak.
He's after making up it out there. It's a voice command driven beast that wielded an axe and had cuffs.
Paddy, don't be calling your penis Gorzak now.
You could give him command like walk or chop 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 to get him to literally slash the axe continuously. When playing the Action Man, Gorzak was an awesome villain for the imagination to take down. And then there's an ad as well, so I must check that ad out and see, because that sounds very cool. It's mad. It's funny that there's toy like I feel like I've seen almost everything. Do you know what I mean? For a toy to have an ad that I haven't thought of or haven't seen is very intriguing. So I'm gonna have to check that out. Gorzak from 1994.
Gar writes in and says, the following is a random splurge of memories from different time periods. The Tomy Pokemon figures, which is the one we were talking about. My friend and I would spend hours lining up all my Pokemon and both pick our teams. We were essentially doing make-believe Pokemon Stadium before it was a thing. He would always have to go home before we actually got to finish. I remember one day we actually did play though. I had Gengar on my team, and every time my friend attacked, I would say, it doesn't affect him, he's a ghost. You bastard. My brother spent most of his youth growing up in England before he moved to Ireland, and as we used to travel back and forth a lot, we were always acquiring things that couldn't be got in Ireland. We had tons of things like visionary action figures, the Mask toys, not the green guy, but the show about all the cars that have weapons. And one thing I specifically remember is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles van. I remember that too, actually. I'm not going to Google it now, but my memory, the top came off and we were able to blow it up, so it turned into a huge blimp. Okay.
Yes.
These could have been separate toys though. We also had the Turtle Shredder, Splinter, etc. The limit was tougher since we didn't have a foot pump and you couldn't just order this random shit off Amazon when you needed it. Oh my god. You know what hit my brain there? Do you remember the Spider-Man silly string shooters?
Yeah.
They were fucking the biggest rip-off ever. I remember being so excited and the cans were specific and you couldn't buy the cans. So once you spent all your money squirting it was fucking gone. It was always worth the effort though. For some reason I was always expecting that it would float around the room. Not knowing back then that balloons had helium to allow this witchcraft. So number 3, RC cars were a big thing for me growing up. They used to always get them and never worth the charge time. Again mentioned. The battery would almost be melting a hole in the kitchen floor counter for 10 hours to drive around for literally That's the melting a hole in the kitchen counter really fucking got me. Such a visual image, man. Me and my friend once had the same car. We were so excited to race them. I thought mine was going to be way faster for some reason. They were, of course, identical, but when we tried to race around the course, we couldn't understand why both controllers controlled both cars at once. Then I was saying back then you could switch the frequency for this exact situation.
That's pretty funny, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I was quite lucky growing up as my brother's one of the few people who managed to avoid the spending all your money on drinking phase of his life, and also had always had cash and never really grew out of collecting. His room was like a museum. All of the original Transformers, X-Men figures, Lord of the Rings, Beast Wars, Star Trek, Star Wars. It was absolutely nuts, of course. He was always very generous and constantly buying me figures. Also, many of which I still have now. I would have loved a brother like that. One I remember in particular was all of the Gundam Wing figures. My lord. Are you familiar with Gundam Wing, Nisha? Like a Japanese mech show?
I know what Gundam is, yeah. Like Transformers or something?
A little bit. They were crazy detailed. I think this was... I think due to this, I was always more into the statues and the really nice figures rather than the ones that look like toys. Also, the Mummies Alive toys were absolutely amazing.
Oh, there was a toy line of Mummies Alive. I didn't know that.
Your one was so hot in that. Let's not forget that magic moment when the new Smiths catalogue came out and you had to drool over it waiting for your birthday. I love the way all these stories, we don't read these. We don't read these before we do the episode to keep them fun and new, so this is great.
It's so cool.
I was always flicking to the back and see the game titles, and I think we all remember the Happy McDonald's Happy Meal toys and cereal box toys. My lord. You should join us, Gary. You're in our brains.
Yes.
One cereal box toy I remember was the head bust of the Phantom Menace characters. Inside would be a little piece of paper about the character.
I remember them.
I do too.
Oh my god.
Lightsabers as well should have been brought up as a toy list, where you just the telescopic ones where you beat the shit out of each other with them. And someone always hits their finger with them and goes, I'm not playing with you anymore.
Yeah.
Some honorable mentions that I didn't have, like all my friends had, were the wrestling figures, Dr. X and Action Man. Was Dr. X the evil guy?
Dr. X, yes, Dr. X. Fucking hell.
And the endless sea of generic military toys. Also the Power Rangers and Power Rangers movie toys. I'm obsessed. Mr. Dave knows what I'm talking about. Those Zords were wild.
Isn't it funny how almost all of Gar's stories there related to our own stories from kids? Yeah.
Well, Gar grew up in Ireland as well, so I think it's like that extra layer, you know?
Yeah. Some incredible stories there, Gar. And the fact that his older brother was buying toys and keeping them, and that's really, really cool. So
yeah, it was very, very awesome. Thank you for that. We got a T up next.
T Potts wrote in and said, I was absolutely in love with the Action Man who had a husky that shot missiles from its back.
I had that.
No way.
I had that.
Deadly. Polly Pockets were incredible. Loved Polly Pockets. Tamagotchi. However, reliving it, I don't know how I cared for that thing. They're so demanding. It's pretty good, like training for a kid, you know, like giving them a dog.
I used to give my Tamagotchi to my mom when I went to school, so she was fucked with looking after it.
That's funny. TY Beanie Babies and Micro Machines. Micro Machines, man. Holy fuck, I totally forgot about Micro Machines. A small shout out for the horror that are Furbies. I dropped mine on its head by accident once, and it heckin' screeched at me for an hour. And then Teapots wrote, Josh, my favourite toy when I was growing up was my Stretch Armstrong.
That's funny because I call Josh Stretch Armstrong on stream because I talk about his penis as a Stretch Armstrong. Also,
brilliant.
Adjacent to Tamagotchis were the Digivices that I adored as well. That had the Digimon on it and had the pedometer shaker in it, and you'd train them and you'd fight them. I adored them. I must get a new one. I saw them advertised.
It's kind of funny where like you can almost tell somebody's age by their toys that they're picking. Do you know what I mean? And it's great how much like we're relating. Everyone is relating to each other with the kind of similar toys. So that was really cool. Thanks, Teapots and Josh.
The interesting thing about the podcast is the average age is about 35, I think. So it's all kind of in our range. You know, I think this tends to happen. But Super Nerd says, I had Animorph toys, I remember them, that transformed back and forth between human and animal form. That shit was crazy. I couldn't believe that somebody managed to engineer that in both directions and it worked, even if they looked a little janky. Other than that, I always loved the May. Oh my god, weird flashback to some other toys that like transform back and forth, including Digimon ones. Fuck. Other than that, I always loved mazes with the little ball you rolled across the field to get the dip at the end. Yeah, like Crystal Maze ones as well. And Nerf guns, specifically the water guns, which I think are probably the Super Soakers, but just maybe Nerf branded in wherever.
Yeah. Very cool. Thanks, Super Nerd. Next up, we have Dinner Dog. And Dinner Dog said, when I was very young, I had a battery-powered Thomas the Tank engine that you put on a series of little tracks, and that motherfucker just went chew fucking chew. Legend. Oh, very good. And like trains on train tracks, man.
Clearly this is who's responsible for this episode title. Was it Mark?
It was Mark the Mill, the suckling cunt himself.
Suckling cunt, Mark, thank you so much for this episode idea. I know he was busy all weekend and probably didn't get a chance to write in for this episode, but still very cool. Patty says, got another edition if that's okay. 2 amazing Sonic the Hedgehog toys that were really damn cool. Sonic Mountain Quest, which is photos in the Discord, by the way, guys. If you want to submit questions and you want to check out the photos along with these submissions of people's, childhood toys growing up, pop on into the Discord. We'd love to have you on in there. It's where we do all our communicating. This was cool. It's basically a vertical obstacle course that you guide a metal ball through different obstacles until you reach the top of the mountain. I look at the picture now. It seems really cool. So awesome, man. The waterfall ring toss. I had 2 different variations of these. The standard plain ring toss. The Frog Team one where the frog also jumped when tossing the rings, and a Sonic the Hedgehog one where he was in the spin animation jumping while tossing the rings. Extremely addictive and just great non-battery powered fun. I mean, the box art alone of the retro Sonic stuff is just depressing. You know what I mean?
It's so good.
Dinner Dog just added the white Power Ranger sword underneath that as well, which is incredible.
I had that sword, man. Was
that also a flute that summoned the Ranger, or was that the green one?
Nah, it was Green Ranger. Okay. Yeah, it was Green Ranger with his dagger.
But the White Ranger and the Green Ranger is the same guy.
God. Well, sorry, yeah. But because the head on that sword, the tiger's head used to talk. The eyes lit up and it would talk and say something. Oh my God. I don't know if you could speak through the mouth, but oh my God, because that blade used to pop out. Fucking hell, that's after taking me back. That white Power Ranger sword. Holy shit. But man, the stuff, the Sonic, what's it called? Sonic Mountain Quest that Paddy sent in is very, very cool. And we're giving Paddy 2 rolls of the dice because he didn't get his entries in for the last episode.
That's fair.
for the top 10. So thanks very much, Paddy. And again, Dinner Dog. Mr. Dave wrote in and said, back to Power Rangers. I was absolutely obsessed with it. I had the figures that were kind of floppy. Managed to track down the green, yellow and pink ones. Very rare at the time. The morphin figures with the flip heads. The OG Rangers, the white and green, and the new red, yellow and black ones. The Megazord, Dragonzord and the Thunderzords eluded me yet. I don't think I ever had the Zords, the Megazord toys or anything.
Oh, I did. The picture on the left myself. Is with the green little bally thing in its chest is screaming at me.
The picture in the bottom. Yeah. Too expensive apparently. Finally got my hands on the Ninja Megazord, the Shogun Megazord, Titanus, I fucking remember that, and the Falconzord, as well as the Power Dome, Command Center, and baby. Lord Zed, Serpentra. Oh, and the ninja figures. I sold everything except for the figures and the Serpentra during the pandemic. Bit of a regret. F's in the chat. Since then, I traded my Metal Gear Solid 2 figures with my brother-in-law for the original Megazord, Thunderzord, Dragonzord, and Titanus. They're well played with, but it's nice to have them on display as a sort of memory. Still chasing those other Zords. So, oh my god, that fucking dinosaur
with the big penis thing. Yeah, it's like a big penis dinosaur. It's funny, one of the comments underneath as well, it says there's a chain attached to its ear, which is pressing a button to continue lore of you wearing the chain attached from your eyebrow to your nose. Yeah. Which is gas.
Cool. Nice. Just underneath, Mr. Dave just finished off by saying, going back a few more years, I was massively into Thunderbirds, Stingray, and Captain Scarlet. I know Thunderbirds, but I don't know Stingray and Captain Scarlet. My dad was too growing up, and he got me into it. These toys were fire, and before that, Thomas the Tank Engine. Nice, you know, Thomas the Tank Engine, man.
Next we have the amazing Hammy, who's kind of put a few pictures of different things and says, there are my childhood toys. I was obsessed with Thunderbirds and Power Rangers back in the day, and used to play Sonic Water Toss toy in the bath. The pictures of these are here as well. There is the Thundercast, there's the Power Rangers with the flippable heads. And guys, you gotta pop into the Discord for the Sonic Toss Ring. Hammy, I would go into the bath and play Sonic Toss Ring with you any day, girl. What else do we got on in there? We got one left, I believe, from Teach You before we finish up today.
Sorry, you caught me off guard with that comment. Teach You wrote in and said, love how this episode follows the Unlock 1 Nostalgia Unlocked. Hold on, what? Hold on, I can't read that.
Love how I'll go for it. Love how this episode follows the Unlocked one, and now you're saying Nostalgia Unlocked. Seeing all the Power Rangers snaps from Gar, Hammy, and Mr. Dave in the Discord hits all the fields, man. Cough, cough. Add a Discord promo here. Get into the Discord. We need more people. Other honorable mentions have to be cap guns. Oh my god, the smell of cap guns, man. Our news agent had only one left, and I remember racing my friend from school. First one there gets dibs. Somehow won. Then being a little shit, I was showed off in school the next day and got in trouble for brandishing a gun. Oxy was loving it. Plus bangers. I hardly know her. As us lawn donors call them, or fun snaps. We used to stand around and show them at each other for the lulz. Life without phones, eh? Oh man, I miss it. And finally, one toy I always wanted was the RC car that had a snake inside. Like, you'd press a button and a snake would spring out, all fully erect like. Then you'd press a button and it would squirt water everywhere. Kaboom! A sploosh. No one I speak to seems to remember it. Maybe I've just been dreaming about squirting snakes. Who knows? Gigi, that was probably one of the funniest entries I've ever read. Thank you for that one. But underneath, Gar has put a photo of this python that comes out of an RC car that squirts water. What the fuck? Who came up with the idea to put a fucking snake that comes out of an RC car that shoots water at you? Holy mother of God. Teach You, I hope.
Controller for that.
I hope Teach You. I don't think Teach You has seen this. Like, Teach You need to get back in and look at the python. You haven't reacted to it.
Oh, very cool. Thanks, Teach You. Fuck, man, that was an incredibly nostalgic episode. We did the Unlockables episode for season 5, episode 1, and this one has unlocked an awful lot of nostalgia. It's crazy when you think back to all this stuff. I suppose I don't have a lot of collectibles, and toys aren't something that I'm kind of focused on. It's mainly video games, but this has totally kind of piqued my interest for a lot of them. Specifically ones that I love to get purely from a collecting point of view are those Sonic ones with those boxes, because I love that artwork. The ring toss thing that Paddy and Hammy sent in, the Sonic one, and then the mountain that Paddy had.
Let me recommend that you just look up some of them on Instagram, and it creates a feed of all the old nostalgic toys. Like, just create an algorithm for your Instagram that does it, because that's what's happening to me at the moment.
Very cool.
Yeah, that was a really really nostalgic fun time.
Yeah, it was,
guys.
Man. Yeah, it was great.
We appreciate your stories, Nisha. Thank you for yours, and thank Keith myself for mine.
Thank you.
We're going to be continuing on the conversation after hours in our lock-in section of the Patreon. We'll be discussing all our post feelings on what just happened during this episode. So if you want to continue on the conversation over there, you're more than welcome to. But of course, we'd also love to have all your feedback in the Discord, and we'll be asking the next episode. Do we know what our next episode is?
We might do. Hold on, we see. Our next episode is. What if I pick this now?
It's locked in. Okay, we'll keep it a surprise. We'll keep it a surprise in case to keep you wanting. But we might talk about it in the Patreon. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. This has been our 90s toys. I'm not really sure. We'll find a nice title for this episode as time goes on. But thank you for everything. And yeah. Keep that in. Keep that in mind.